So, week 2 of the 2022 NFL season. Let's just get into it.
All right.
What games did you watch?
Yeah, I watched the Broncos Jaguars game. I watched the Cowboys Chargers game. The Chiefs Ravens and Packers Lions, the primetime games. That was about it.
Prime times. Right on. I watched Seahawks, Titans, of course. I watched Packers beat the Lions, and then I watched a little bit of Thursday Night Football, which is tonight. I think the game might be over right now. Let me check. Dude, Christian McCaffrey, man.
I know, dude.
Game's not over with the 2-minute warning in the fourth. Carolina 24, Texans 9. So
yeah, game's over.
Game's over. Anyway, dude, let's talk about your Cowboys real quick.
All right, yeah, let's talk about those Cowboys.
Let's talk about these Cowboys. Dude, how do you feel about your game this week?
The thing about that game is, like, it didn't prove anything for the Cowboys, really, since the Chargers just had so many penalties and all that. The Cowboys looked really good, so that's the positive, is that they did look really good. They sustained long drives. Everyone was getting the ball. It was all good in the hood. But the Chargers had 2 scores taken off the board because of penalties, and they had 12 penalties and a bunch of turnovers. And the fact that the Cowboys only beat them by 3 is a little worrisome. The Chargers, chargered themselves into a loss. So it'll be interesting to see what happens Monday Night Football this week when the Cowboys play the Eagles. But the Cowboys look good. They should win the division. I think we saw enough to see that, but the Chargers just, were being the Chargers, so it's kind of got to take that win with a grain of salt a little bit.
Yep, I mean, I don't know. So, maybe this is just because I'm a Seahawks fan and we obviously lost this week.
Yeah.
But sometimes, a good team can just have a rough game, whether they win or lose. I mean, some weeks you don't have it all together. But tell you what, the Cowboys is a completely different team when Dak's playing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's just, I mean, it's going to be weird when Dak, moves on from the Cowboys, or if he's there his whole career, retires. It's going to feel like, Dak makes that team the Cowboys to me. And I think you can go into every game with a lot more confidence with him being healthy and playing as well as he has been.
For sure. He's really developed and grown as a quarterback, and the Cowboys would be toast. They'd be done if he got injured. And that's just how the Cowboys are built. That was the same when Romo was there. We lose our starting quarterback and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Pittsburgh where they can throw anybody in there and they still go 8-8 or whatever. But yeah, Dak Prescott is necessary. And they didn't have a bad game.
Yeah,
they just
Dak, obviously no touchdowns, 1 interception, but same thing. It was just a sloppy game.
Yeah,
but they pulled out a W. So
yeah, I think can't go wrong.
I think you're right, though. If anything, this tells more about the Chargers, and there's definitely some struggles on. I think they're the most penalized team in the league right now.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some discipline and control and precision issues. I don't think anyone thought the Chargers were going to be, a Super Bowl contender going into the season, but in my opinion, they're performing a little worse than I thought they would.
Yeah.
They've had injuries and stuff, but yeah, pretty. I mean, they're not playing super good, so it looks like they'll have a losing season.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, it just looked like the same old Chargers. Like the roster is amazing.
Yeah.
Like they got talent everywhere, but they can't close out.
Just can't put it together. Yep.
Yeah.
Can't put it together.
It's a sad story because I really like Justin Herbert, and he's on my fantasy team, obviously, and the Chargers single-handedly made me lose my fantasy game, so that also kind of hurt a little bit. But
yeah, man.
Let's talk about those Seahawks. Like, is Derrick Henry just that good, or is there?
No joke. Right when the game was over, my first thought was, dude, I do not want to talk about this on our podcast this week. I might just say I'm sick or something because I do not I want to forget that game. I want it to be over with. But yeah, man, I think that game just proves the power of halftime.
Yeah.
We go into the half. I mean, we had absolute control of the game, and I think we'd only allowed Derrick Henry to get 20, 30 yards, and it felt great. I mean, things were looking good. Halftime comes along. I don't know who gave Derrick Henry a pep talk during halftime, but it freaking worked. And there was that, and here's the thing about Derrick Henry and just having an outstanding running back is not only are you getting yards and most likely points, but you're getting a lot of time of possession.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's honestly what happened to us is Derrick went off. I mean, all of a sudden those brick walls of our defense just tumbled down around him, and he was getting so many yards per play, and the small amount of time that we did, the Seahawks offense did have the ball, we just couldn't get it down the field.
Yeah.
They catch up. Overtime, not good. And honestly, there's that one play where I don't know, I hate to say this, but especially just how things fell apart for the Seahawks offense in the second half and into overtime, we didn't deserve to win. And we honestly got bailed by a few penalties. When Russell Wilson, I don't think you can call it a safety because he wasn't tackled in the end zone. But he kind of was. I don't know. That was a weird play and a tough call because, basically what happened is Russell, we're on the 5 or 10 yard line. He drops back. Our offensive line just collapses on the pass rush, and I can't remember who the linebacker was that was on Russell, but he chased him into the end zone for a second, and then Russell tried to kind of skip forward to get out of it. And it's debatable because there's a mid tackle. I don't know. I need to watch the play again, but I can see the argument for safety. But it's he never was actually on the ground in the end zone. It was a weird play. Yeah. And here's one thing that cost us, honestly, the game even early on is we were getting some pretty bad penalties. We had quite a few penalties. It was pretty uncharacteristic of us for the last few years. But it's DK Metcalf. He's a great receiver. He's got a lot of potential. But, dude, that kid, anyone can get in his head. You say one word to him and you set him off. So I think in the first half, he'd cost us like 30 yards in penalties.
Jeez.
Just because, dude, he can't, like, it just sucks because I feel like that guy is so mentally undisciplined.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's a two-edged sword. Like, he'll get some great plays. He's a great deep threat, but he's going to have a few drops, and he's going to give you some free yards because he just picks fights and looks for them, and dude, he needs like some counseling or some meditation or something because he will never win the mental battle. He'll always lose that. And we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it, both times we faced the Rams last year, Jalen Ramsey totally just shut him down. Like shut him down with words. Like, it's not good. It's not good.
That's not good. Yeah.
And I'm sure this kid is like seen his his footage. He's watched his tape or his film. He's probably had so many people be like, dude, just calm down. Like, how many times does this guy need to be told, like, dude, just ignore them. Like, don't listen. Don't take it personal. Like, it's the NFL. People talk smack. But, dude, he takes everything personally. And he dishes it out, too. It's like, gosh, if he was mentally, strong and could just control his anger or frustration or whatever it is with other players, he would be such a better player already.
Yeah.
But that's my rant about DK. I love him. I'm so glad he's a Seahawk. But every once in a while, it's like, dude, stop being a jack A and just like play the game, bro.
Yeah, that's true. We've seen it before, and that's one of the many reasons they lost.
But yeah, I think I think it's tough to say, oh, the Seahawks suck. Like, they're going to lose a lot of games now. I mean, the Titans. I wouldn't even put the Titans in a top 10 team in the league right now. But when you got Derrick Henry, like, anything can happen. And that's just what happened to us. I mean, I don't even know who we would say is the best defense in the league right now. Maybe the Rams. But Derrick Henry can still get 100+ yards in the Rams too. So, it's just, dude, if Derrick gets off, like, I'm sorry, you lost the game. I'm pretty sure the ratio is like, if he has 100+ yards in a game, he's like 19-2.
Yeah.
When he has 100+ yards, so it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Yeah, somebody got to contain. Yeah, and can't stop him. Can only hope to contain him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a panic time for the Seahawks. I mean, the Titans were a playoff team last year, and then they're mostly the same. So I don't think there's any shame in losing to the Titans.
Yeah, I still think, and every team has a bad game. We just hopefully had ours a little early and learn from our mistakes and continue on the rest of the season doing well. And I think our schedule's fairly easy for the next couple weeks. Yeah, we play like the Vikings next week, where I usually feel pretty confident against the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Vikings-Cardinals game. Well, dude, like, the last, 5 times I've watched a game where a kicker misses the field goal to lose the game, I'm pretty sure the last 5 times it's been the Vikings.
The Vikings are going to Viking, man. They just like the Chargers. It's like they lost the most Vikings way possible.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know what is with Vikings and field goal kickers, but
dude. It's just holding that franchise back for years now is not only paying Kirk Cousins millions, but also just their field goal kicker just falls apart out of nowhere.
Dude, the Vikings are a prime example of how important field goal kickers are. Like,
Uh-huh.
that is an important position. Even though they just kick a ball, it is
Right.
honestly, it's debatably one of the most important positions on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a kicker. It's like it's so weird because you think of football scoring touchdowns and all that stuff, but kickers are one of the few positions that consistently score points. Like they score a lot of points,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you're trying to do. And yeah, I think it's really understated how important kickers are to the game, and that's part of why I love football so much because it's all part of the strategy. Like, do you kick a field goal? Do you touchdown? Like the way the points are set up, it's like perfect with all the mathematics and all that stuff. And it is kind of sad. It's like sometimes all your players did everything they can do, and then all depends on one of the lowest paid guys on the team
Yeah.
to score 3 points for you so you can win.
Dude.
Yeah.
Credit to all the kickers out there.
Yeah.
All the kickers except for the Vikings kicker. He doesn't get as much credit. But here's one thing is, dude, Kyler Murray.
Dude.
I think he's already locked in a spot to the MVP race. I mean, if he stays as solid as he has been, dude. I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights.
Uh-huh.
I wish, I hate the Cardinals. They're in my division, but I love watching Kyler Murray play. Like, it's just like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? And he's so quick, and he's got a good arm. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but he's so quick. And, I think one thing is just the offensive coordinator and just the team in general has put a really good system around Kyler, and they're really letting him flourish. They're letting Kyler cook.
Yeah.
And, obviously the Cardinals are a good team all around. They've got probably the best pass rush in the league, which helps. But I want to look back at their games, but I mean, both Cardinals games. Well, no, they kind of killed the Titans, but Vikings Cardinals is pretty close. Cardinals won by 1 point and really by a missed field goal, but in the end, I mean, the Cardinals are a good team.
Yeah, they're a good team. And yeah, they got Kyler Murray. Yeah, as of right now, he's firmly in the MVP conversation. There's still obviously 15 more games, but through 2 games, he looks really good. And I think he's insanely underrated because we can talk about this game a little bit later. But I mean, he can do everything Lamar can do.
Oh, I think he's better at it.
Throws better.
Yeah, exactly.
Has a more accurate ball. But he plays for Arizona, and they haven't made the playoffs and all that stuff. So lost, and no one cares about low market teams, and he's in a tough division. So
I think that's one thing too. If the Cardinals were in a different division, that wasn't honestly, if they weren't in the best division in the league, I think Kyler would be more of a star.
Yeah.
Just because he would outshine everyone in his division a lot more. But
right.
When you're that good, but you're still probably third, possibly fourth in your division, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put him in the NFC East, and bro.
Yeah, he'd be tearing it up there for sure. And I think he'd get more. He'd get more attention if the Cardinals were still in the NFC East. But yeah, it's tough when you got 2 California teams and you got Russell Wilson. It's tough to stand out there, and the Cardinals have been such a underachieving franchise for so long. But I think this could be the year that Kyler Murray really makes a name for himself.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's I can't think of anyone. Can you think of anyone that should be higher in the MVP race than him besides Tom Brady, maybe?
Yeah, Tom Brady's in the conversation.
I mean, Tom Brady looks better this year than he did last year.
Yeah. They're going to a much faster start.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're insanely good. They could be a one-loss team. I think they could. They're probably, if there's a team to go undefeated, the most likely to, because they just everything about that team just looks so good. And so I think that also kind of hurts Brady in getting the MVP.
Yeah.
I think what helps him is he's got he'll have the numbers for sure if he keeps playing like this. But the other thing that might help him win MVP is just how old he is, and just the league giving him a lot of credit for playing at such a high level at such a advanced age.
Which is stupid, because I feel like the MVP, it's always been decided by basically numbers.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, there's like one other factor, like, oh, but he's also 44.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah.
But his team also sucked, but they still made it like deep into the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Right. But I have trust in whoever does the voting. I think, like, for example, I think it was good that when the Broncos won the Super Bowl with Peyton, that Peyton Manning didn't win the MVP because he didn't deserve it. Von Miller was, but I mean, they could have easily given it to him because it was his last game. So I admire the integrity there. So I'm hoping that there's still integrity in the MVP voting for that kind of thing, and for the season MVP. But
yeah, no, for sure. Okay, I kind of want to go off the script of just talking about this week's games for a minute.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions in my mind.
All right.
Sorry, I'm trying to hold back a sneeze. Okay, question 1. Just because we're talking about Kyler and Tom Brady, we're like, a guy that's doing great at the beginning of his career, a guy that's doing great at the end. So I'm going to expand on this. Let's say okay. This question's like formulating into this nice hypothetical situation in my mind.
Okay.
You got to choose a quarterback.
All right.
A running back. And 2 receivers.
Okay.
That are rookies right now.
That are rookies.
Or like young. First 3 years, 4 years. Young players. You get to put them on a team. They can be on the same team for the next 10 to 15 years, like the rest of their careers. They're all sticking together. Who do you pick to have the most successful, quarterback receiver combo along with the running back? Like which players do you see, like, if they were all on the same team for the rest of their careers, that team would just be utter destruction?
So, how young are we talking? Like
first couple seasons. First, like, I'm not going to be strict. No. He's in season 5?
Okay.
Because we're counting benched years too, so they got to be like rookie or like just out of their rookie contract.
Okay, still. So first 3 years. So let's say 2019.
Yeah.
2021 draft classes. Okay. Whew. All right. I will go with. Oh my gosh. I might. Well, the rookies, the quarterbacks, have looked awful.
Yeah.
So
this year's rookies.
They haven't had the fast start that other rookies have had. So they're out. They haven't shown me anything to be positive. I mean, I think a lot of them still can be good. They just have had a rough start.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go with. Maybe this is biased. I think I'd have to go with Justin Herbert because I think he'd have more longevity if we're talking 10 to 15 years than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, okay.
That's my worry with Lamar Jackson too. I'm like, Lamar Jackson, the cool thing about him is he is how athletic he is, but he's going to wear down like a running back, you know, if you rely on that. So you'll get the amazing talent now, but 10 years down the road, it's not going to be the same. So I'd have to go with Justin Herbert just because he's big, strong, durable, and he's better than Joe Burrow. He's better than Tua, for sure. And he had a much better rookie year start. Two games of his rookie year than any of the rookies we've seen so far this year. So I'd have to go with Justin Herbert because I think he'll have a longer career than Kyler Murray. Running backs, I'd have to go with a new one of rookies that have come out recently. I'd have to go with probably Antonio Gibson on the Washington football team. He's pretty good. I don't remember what draft class he got drafted in, but it was pretty recent. Another consideration I'd have would be Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
He's good too. But I think I'll give the edge to Antonio Gibson because I think he's a little better runner. He's not as fast, but I think he has better ball carrier vision and a little bit more power when he runs. So I'd go with that. And then as far as rookies, or receivers, I'd probably go Justin Jefferson from the Vikings and CeeDee Lamb. A little biased on that choice, but he's proven to be pretty good on the Cowboys. So I think that'd be Justin Herbert, Antonio Gibson, just to say I'm not too biased by having someone in my division in the team, and then Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb would be my 10-year plan, 10 to 15-year plan on my team.
Dude, that's solid. I see your point on Justin Herbert. Did you say Justin Taylor is your running back?
No, I put Antonio Gibson as my running back.
Okay, yeah. Also solid choice. That's the thing. We've been sleeping on running backs.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's just so distracted by the quarterbacks always.
Right.
But also the noise of some of these young receivers. But, dude, there's some good running backs coming out.
There are.
Some good running backs.
There are. Josh Jacobs would be another one. I think he hasn't been in the league too long, and he's solid for the Raiders.
Yeah, let me think. Let me see how long he's been. I think is this year 3? Let me see here. I'm just curious because, 2019 NFL draft. Okay.
Nice.
So this is mine, all right?
Okay. Yeah, let's hear yours.
Quarterback, I'm going to go Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Just because he's outstanding. We've already talked about him.
Yeah.
But one thing is I think Russell Wilson has really paved the way for Kyler Murray. Because, for example, Russell came into the league, and, I'll never say he's like Michael Vick. Michael Vick is, I think, the first great quarterback in, modern football that was so athletic and primarily, run rather than throw. But the thing with Michael Vick is he did get injured a lot.
Yeah.
He did have a short career. And he didn't throw a lot. He had a decent arm, but it wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah.
But I don't compare Russell to him just because Russell doesn't run as much.
Yeah.
And he's got a much better arm.
Yeah, I agree. I think Russell is closer to Steve Young than he was Michael Vick.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, Steve Young, yeah. Where it's, he doesn't primarily run, but when he senses that he can in the pocket, or just needing to scramble in the pocket, they're superb. Okay?
Yeah.
But both players, Steve Young, I'm glad you brought him up, and Russell Wilson, the first, 4, 5, 6 years of their careers, they did it a lot more.
Yeah.
And then just with age and experience and maybe good foresight, they slowed down. They protected themselves a little more, which has, both of them have great arms too, so they can also rely on that. And it's almost like for Russell, I think his deep ball has gotten better and his accuracy has gotten better. And his connection with his receivers has gotten better. So he doesn't need, the Seahawks don't need to rely on the super athletic scrambling, running Russell Wilson, which is, I think, elongating his career and stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is, so now the Cardinals have Kyler Murray and they're like, we're going to do what Russell did. You're young, you're athletic, we're just going to let you cook. But as soon as you start to get banged up, we kind of have a good example, a good blueprint from players beforehand on what we can focus on. Because same thing, Kyler's got a great arm. They could rely on just that if they needed to. But you know what I mean? So, yes, being the kind of player he is, he definitely has a higher risk of getting injured. But if he follows the examples and plays right and learns to improve and rely on his arm more, I think he can avoid major injuries, especially with how much. Here's the other thing. I mean, quarterbacks are like so safe if they don't, they're so safe if they stay in the pocket where, and I think that's one thing Russell's done really well the last few years is I'm safe in the pocket. Like there's no way I'm getting injured in the pocket.
Yeah.
And I only go out when I know I have space enough to run and slide. Same thing. Kyler's got that baseball slide too. So I think he'll be fine. I think he'll stay generally healthy. I think he'll do good. Okay.
That's a good point. He's got a good enough arm to make it last. So that's what makes him different than like pure running quarterback.
And do you remember, it was so interesting his first season. Remember how much he threw? He was he was throwing it was like 40 plus a game.
That's crazy.
Pass attempts.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember he threw so much. And maybe it was like, dude, you got to learn how to throw in this league if you want. I don't know. It was strange. But anyway, my receivers, I'm going Judy because he's good.
Jerry Judy is really good.
He's so good. That guy's got, and then my second is going to be Lamb as well. Something I like about both these receivers is they're quick and they're good at routes, but they are both so good after the reception. After the catch, they're so good. And think of other great receivers that are kind of the same way. T.O. You know what I mean? Like, I think they've got the makeup to be great receivers, and they're already doing great. And then I'm going to go Taylor for running back.
That's a solid choice. I
don't know. Maybe I would go. No, I'm going Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is good too.
I'm going Josh Jacobs, actually. Revert that. Because, dude, Josh Jacobs is a beast.
He is a beast.
He's a friggin' beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like your team and my team, 10 years, all on the same team, dude. Yeah. It's too good.
Yeah, those are solid teams. I like your picks. I see your logic in all of them though. That's good. Those are good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to remember. I forgot what my other hypothetical question was. Anyway. I like football.
I like football too. Yeah, man.
I wanted to ask you this too. And same with our viewers/listeners. I am 100% on the hype train or the bandwagon or the boat of Madden style camera angles in NFL games.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Those are great.
Dude, I love it. I just feel like, here's the deal. You see so much more.
Yeah, you do.
So much more.
It's funny because, like, Madden was like trying to get as close to the real game as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and finally, like, the broadcast is like, "Whoa, Madden actually like does it better than we do. Let's
give that a
let's
shot."
do that." Now they're copying the video game. It's so bizarre seeing it the other way around, and you realize actually Madden wasn't that realistic before, but now it is because the broadcast changed
Yeah.
that way.
Dude,
It's really cool.
and maybe it's because I've played a lot of Madden, so I like that angle for Madden, but dude, I just love it. I freaking love it. Watching the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Dude, it was sweet. Unfortunately, it was when the Lions had the ball. So, Jared Goff is out there doing his thing, and they kept that angle for, I don't know, a sequence, like that whole possession. It was probably a sequence of like 5, 6, 7 plays. And the whole time I was like, dude, don't change it back. Please don't change it back. Dude, I just love it because you feel like you're in there. Like you can see, it starts on the huddle. You're there for the huddle. You see him line up. But one huge thing is it's so much easier. Dude, it should be permanent. Like that's how games are. Because you can see, I was watching Jared Goff scan the defense. You can't really see him scan the defense from the traditional angle, but you watch him scan the defense and you can actually see like the lineups and kind of comprehend where guys are lined up, offense and defense, so much better.
Yeah.
I really hope, I would love to get an angle from the defense. Like I want to be on the defensive side of the ball with that angle.
Yeah.
I think probably the reason they wouldn't do it is just because a camera could potentially be in the way of a throw.
Sure.
But at the same time, they have cameras these days where the camera could be like back over the stands but zoomed in. I'm sure they could. Either way. Yeah. I just wanted to like bring that up. Like I love those camera angles, man.
Yeah, those are good camera angles. Yeah, it's nice because you can see more of the play because like the traditional one where it's on the side. Like you see the quarterback, but you don't know where the receivers are, so you don't know like where you're throwing the ball to and if it's going to be open until like it follows the ball to the receiver.
Mm-hmm. Same thing, like coverage on receivers. I mean, traditional angle, it's like he's near him. But Madden angle, you can really see horizontally across the field where guys are, where their route is actually like the direction it's going, how sharp they're cutting. Yeah. Dude, it's just better. Yeah. It's just better, man.
Yeah.
I really I don't know, maybe we got to get on like the NFL Reddit page and start like an uprising or something.
Yeah.
I want a full game Madden angle.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That would be sweet. Yeah, man.
It makes me want to play Madden. Now I just want to play Madden.
Yeah, dude.
Because of the angle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good for the NFL too, making more people want to play.
Yeah. All right. I'm just looking at my page and I just saw the Bears symbol. Their logo.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to ask you, what do you think about our man Justin Fields getting the starting position this week?
Well, it's good. I mean, he didn't play amazing in his debut after Andy Dalton got hurt, but maybe a week with the first team. Getting first team reps this week, he could look a little bit better, more prepared. No, it's good for him. I'm glad that he's getting his chance. I think the Bears just need to ride or die with Justin Fields, whether he doesn't need to prepare under Andy Dalton. It just got thrown to the wolves, and so I'm glad he's getting that shot.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it multiple times before. It's great for quarterback to not start if they're under a great quarterback, but
yeah.
If it's Andy Dalton, dude, just start him.
Right. Yeah, it's just Andy Dalton. You can go ahead and just get him going. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting how this rookie class that was very hyped coming in, and it doesn't look like, the Jaguars still stink. So I mean, Urban Meyer's got a lot to do with Jacksonville, and Trevor Lawrence, just lets it rip, throws as many interceptions as he does touchdowns.
Yeah, man, like he could be a bust, man.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like, yeah, he's supposed to be, like the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck looked a lot better.
Oh yeah,
than he did his rookie years. And the Colts were bad that year. I mean, they sucked for Luck, but I mean, Peyton went down, and they didn't look like the same old Colts. Whereas, unfortunately, with Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars look like the same old Jaguars. So they got a lot of work to do. I mean, obviously, they don't have the personnel. The Jaguars, had a fire sale of all their talent in the offseason, so they're starting over. But, you never know when college coaches, it's 50-50, hit or miss, on whether or not they're going to work. And a lot of those successful college coaches, the ones that are super successful in college, usually, it has a lot to do with recruiting and not as much with X's and O's. So, so we'll see with Urban Meyer
Dude, I've heard rumors. I've read some stuff that like Urban Meyer's is an angry man.
Yeah.
I've read things like he's just like lets it loose on his staff, lets it loose on players, just like the shortest temper. Where it sounds like he's like being the douche coach that like
sure.
He's the jerk coach that isn't being a good coach. He's
right.
Yeah.
And that works in college, but I mean, not always, but it worked for him in college, but it doesn't work in the NFL, because they're, when they go into college, they're just coming out of high school. They're still kids. They're still figuring themselves out, and they don't make any money. So, they take it. They really want to get into the NFL. So they're like, all right, if this is the path I need to go, then this is what it is. But now these players in the NFL, they have too much self-respect and for that kind of treatment from a coach, and they make too much money for to like to be listening to that kind to all that yelling and stuff. They've made it so they don't need to get ridden so hard,
And especially like if they're a pretty good player, like they're like, dude, like I can suck and you'll probably get fired before me. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If a team sucks, they're never going to blame it on a single player. They'll just blame it on the coach, fire and get a new one. So.
Yeah. Right. The closest thing, to that would be a quarterback. But, as far as like, if a defensive end sucks or is doing worse than normal, it's not going. They're not going to blame the player. It's the coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. Yeah. So I'm interested to see. I don't know. Urban Meyer might not even last a year. I mean, like, I think he'll finish the year, but like if things don't seem to get better, I can see him going back to college or just going back to working for Fox.
Well, yeah,
retiring.
I think the Jags, everyone knew they were going to suck, but they should still win like at least one or two games. Like to have a goose egg season on wins, like doesn't happen very often. You do not want to be that team. So
it doesn't. And the Jaguars have never been that team, surprisingly, as bad as they've been.
But then the other thing too is Trevor Lawrence has a crappy team, but we'd still expect him to have like decent numbers, but he is no one's really talking about Trevor Lawrence right now. They're talking about him a lot before the season.
Yeah.
His name isn't getting mentioned too much anymore. And there's
it's like it's almost embarrassing.
I like it though. I was tired of hearing his name, so
Yeah. Maybe he was overrated all along. Which, especially losing to the Texans after all that chaos that happened in the offseason and in week 1, losing to the Texans, and you're like wondering, like, wait, the Texans are bad. We can accept that. But are they as bad as we thought they were?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, they fought with the Browns too. They beat the Jaguars, who were supposed to be better than them, because we all thought the Texans were going to go 0-17. So that's already not true. They won, and then they only lost 31-21 to the Browns, and they were in it for a lot of the game. And the Browns are in the Super Bowl bubble roster wise, and so they fought. And then it was a close game, that Panther-Texan game tonight, for a lot of the game, where it was a low scoring, but the Texans were in it the whole time, and the Panthers pulled away towards the end. But like, are the Texans, they're bad, but are they that bad?
They're a decent bad team.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And I don't know how. They had a pretty hot sale on talent. Dude, they've always had a hot sale on talent. They're just like, dude, we don't want good players.
Yeah. And they're coming out and they're competing in all their games. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you don't know how indicative that is on the Jaguars losing to them, but it's that you would think that they would have played better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then there's the Jets, which they just can't get anything right. Zach Wilson threw like so many interceptions against the Patriots, which it's hard to judge him against that as well, because Bill Belichick's just so good against young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But the Jets just are awful.
Dude, they're so bad.
So
I mean, that's the thing is,
yeah.
We knew Zach Wilson was going to be in a tough spot going into the year, and we were all exactly right, because you watch, like replays. He's a quarterback. He's supposed to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
So when you're supposed to do that, but it's so freaking difficult because your offensive line, are like the pancake kings of the NFL. Like, what do you do? Like, you're going to have a lot of interceptions when you've got 3 seconds in the pocket, tops.
Yeah.
And you're expected to throw the ball down the field. But, in the end, not the best decision making on his part.
Sure.
But, I say this for lots of rookie quarterbacks, especially ones that come from good college teams.
Mm-hmm.
There's one skill they're not going to learn until the NFL, and that's reading a play, recognizing it's fallen apart, and throwing the ball, not intentionally grounding it, but you know what I mean?
Away. Yeah.
Throwing the ball away correctly, whether it's out of bounds or an open space. Yeah. Zach Wilson has never had to do that. Trevor Lawrence has never had to do that. I mean, maybe on a very rare occasion, but they get to these teams like the Jaguars and the Jets, and that's what you should be doing. Instead of throwing interceptions, you should be grounding balls. Yeah. And so, that's something they'll probably learn pretty quickly. But week 2, they're not grounding too many balls. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to recognize that, but they will.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll figure it out. They're just having a slower start than we're used to with all these promising rookies, because we were spoiled with the 2020 draft class, with Burrow and Herbert and Tua. They all looked good. Well, Tua didn't impress physically so much, but he won a lot of games. And then Burrow and Herbert just looked really good, and then Kyler Murray, the previous draft class, all looked really good. So we're like, hey, this is too slow of a start for all the hype we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they develop, because that's more old school developing. Peyton Manning had a terrible rookie year, through a record amount of interceptions. Troy Aikman had a terrible rookie year. So it's not, that's kind of an old school development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the way they're going.
By the way, Tua, dude, there's no freaking way Tua's getting 30 touchdowns this year. I think I'm gonna owe you. A root beer quote.
Yeah, dude. I know. Especially when he went down, I was like, all right. That's not how I wanted it to go, though. But, you know, it's still nice. It was still a possibility with his injury history.
It's not looking good. Not looking good.
All right. I'm looking smart right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, just two of us today.
Yeah.
Do we have any more we want to lay down on the table?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously, you know, good teams are good, bad teams are bad. So, you know, I don't think there's anything to read into the Chiefs-Ravens game. I think
two good teams.
Obviously good.
Yeah.
Two good teams, yeah, and just a lot happened, and it could have gone either way. So, I think they'll see each other again in the playoffs.
Yep.
Other than that, I think, you know, it was a pretty solid week where we got a little bit more information about a lot of teams, and I think week 3 will give us some more.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't have much else to say. My battery is getting low, so
football's back.
Football's back, and it's fun. I've enjoyed every game I've watched so far. So
absolutely. Well, guys, sorry we're coming into this week 2. We had some data storage issues for week 1's podcast, but thanks for being here. Thanks for making it to the end. Have a good week.